Hi guys, today I'll be taking a look at a full POM switch, the Womier Mint Blizzard. Let's get started. But firstly, as a disclaimer, these switches were sent to me by Womier. I wasn't paid to make this review and I will remain as impartial as I can as per usual. Anyway, enjoy the review. Now, these switches come in two colorways, the Rose Whisper and the Mint Blizzard. Although unlike most switches in different colors, both switches have the exact same specs, so only the difference between them is their color. Now, another notable mention is the switch design itself, more specifically the LED diffuser element, which for whatever reason isn't labeled on their marketing material, even though I think it should be. Now, here's a comparison with and without the LED diffuser element. As you can see, the element does a pretty good job at diffusing the light. Now, pricing wise, these are £16 for 35 switches, £29 for 70 or £39 for 110 switches on Womier's website. And this is what they look like when disassembled. Feel free to pause the video. Now, let's move on to the switch characteristics. On-center key presses are extremely smooth with almost no scratchiness whatsoever. Off-center key presses are very smooth with very minor hints of scratchiness even at slow key presses. Overall, we've come a long way from the days of the Novel Keys cream. These are amongst the smoothest switches out there, 9 out of 10. Now, according to Womier, these switches have an actuation force of 42 grams at 2mm and a bottom-out force of 50 grams at 3.8mm. Now, in terms of the actual key feel, they perform as per the specs. I didn't notice any inconsistencies. In fact, they were extremely consistent across the board. Akko would be proud of them for sure. However, weighting wise, it is on the light side, which isn't to my preference as I like heavier switches. But since these performed consistently, they were predictable to type on. I still wouldn't choose them for any of my future builds, however. Overall, it's clear that Womier is targeting the Cherry MX Red and the MX Clone user, and if you're one of those, this is an easy recommendation from me. However, it's not personally for me. 4 out of 10. Now, sound-wise, it's quite clacky given my case, but it doesn't really stand out from the rest of the crowd. Overall, they're pretty solid, they're smooth and decently lubed, which often make for a good sounding switch. 7 out of 10. Now, take a listen and enjoy. Now, its standout feature is just how smooth they are. It's the very first thing I noticed, and it makes typing such an effortless task, assuming you're used to its light weighting. Additionally, given how smooth they are, you won't be distracted or frustrated with inconsistencies, and in my opinion, that's a good enough reason to upgrade. However, and this is just a me thing, their light weighting is a downside for me given I made quite a lot of typos. It's not a huge deal breaker, but it did get annoying. I'm really hoping Womier makes a heavier variant of these at some point in the future. Overall, they performed extremely well, and given their relatively low price point, they're a wonderful switch for those looking to upgrade without breaking the bank. 6 out of 10. Now, gaming is a pretty easy one. These are pretty damn good in both fast and slow paced games. They're very smooth and very consistent even at slow key presses. I honestly don't have a downside to mention apart from the light weighting, which isn't really a downside given that's just my preference. Adding on to that, I'll go as far as to say that these should be the next benchmark for contact based MX switches. They're simply that good. I don't see too many reasons why anyone should buy a real MX switch or even an MX clone. These pretty much beat those in both price and performance. Now, that's not to say that these are the best performing switches out there, that's simply not true. I'm only emphasizing how good these are at their price point. Overall, just purely on performance, these are really damn good. Again, it's not the best out there, but this is something I would come to expect from a Switch twice the price. But Womier somehow did it in half that, and that's impressive to me. 6 out of 10. In conclusion, you can forget about the MX Red or any of its clones. This Switch is a huge step up in performance, plus they're also cheaper in many cases. So if you're a fan of light linear switches, I'd highly recommend checking these out. The final score for this Switch is 33 out of 50 or 66%, which is quite good for a Switch not catered to my preferences. And that's the end of the review, and next time I have another special Switch coming up. Anyway, until then, take care and goodbye.